Are you leading with a vision? Let's rap about it.
This is Bars at Work, where leadership and personal development meets hip hop.
Cool. Well, let's keep running the bars because there's more to talk about.
All right, here we go.
You right, ain't nobody hotter than you. Long career, your vision's even shorter than that walk is. Your mission's never really hitting cause it ain't centered where the heart is. It's centered in the desert of the...
All right.
Yeah, bro.
Now we're getting into some stuff here.
Let's
So
go.
We talked about leaders, the longevity of the leader, what kind of aspects of leadership. Now you get into some specifics and you call out the word vision and
Yep.
mission.
Yeah.
Your vision's even shorter than the walk is. Your mission's never really hitting because it ain't centered where the heart is.
Yeah.
So these are like the buzzwords, right? In leadership talk, in team effectiveness, vision, mission, strategy.
Yep.
If you had to break it down for the audience of how you separate these things, and when you're getting into this aspect of the vision is shorter than the walk is, explain that for me. What's your definition of these things, and how do you separate them?
Yeah, man. So the whole piece kind of ties in together. So this picks up where the last bars left off about the short pier, right? You had some recognition. It's really a short pier. You want people to follow you off of that. It's like you don't have longevity yet. So similarly, your vision is even shorter than that walk is that you just took of success. It's been very short. And vision to me is where you're headed. Now, I would define vision as long-term perspective and desire and scope of what you're trying to achieve, right? 10, 20 plus years. That's vision to me is the long term. Jim Collins talks about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. And so if you have a vision that's big enough that you can get people behind it, like, hey, imagine if we achieve this vision. Like, imagine what it would look like, what it would mean if we achieve this vision. And you paint this big, broad stroke picture that gets people excited, that gets people wanting to follow. That's vision. That's something that if I seen you getting awards for a year, I might say, okay, let me pay attention to this person because the way that they've been talking over this last year, I see where they're headed. So it's a progression. Mission to me is like a reason for existence, right? So an organization is created for a purpose, right? It's like, as long as we exist, we will always have this purpose. Like we are on a mission to, and then you fill in the blank. The vision is, okay, what do we see? How are we going to fulfill that mission over the long term?
Right. And then you can go from there and start breaking it down into actionable places of like strategy, goals that lead up to that vision.
Absolutely. Yeah. The strategy to me is going to be, now you're getting into the how to, right? We got this vision of where we want to go long term. This is the reason why we exist. Now let's start breaking that down into bite-sized pieces, right? All the way down to our weekly or daily task and activity should all roll up to where we're headed over the next 20 years.
And I know these are common things that people have always, consultants do this all the time. Like we got to start with the vision, then talk about the mission and do all those things.
Yeah.
It's very important. One thing I've seen is that people get hung up trying to get the words right.
Yeah.
Or trying to get the right sentence or the right 5 words or the right colorful language to get there. I think there's something to just getting the people, like the leadership team or just the team, other employees up and down the organization, to just weigh in, have a say, craft that vision, but don't get so stuck on perfect language.
I think simplicity is the key to your point, right? The common language, use language that people can understand rather than buzzwords that, you know, you're trying to sound extra poetic and people have to be like, well, what does that even mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, use common language, right?
Right.
And let that be, okay, I understand that. Then you build upon it, right? Then you can get poetic and show pictures and just kind of, you know, keep people motivated towards that effort because things are going to get rough.
Yeah. How important is it to see action towards that vision very quickly to motivating people and leading effectively?
So it's extremely important, at least to show continual progress and to keep the vision before people. I think one big mistake I know I've made in my growth up until this point as a leader is I get an idea in my mind, I'll say it, and then I leap into the future thinking that everybody got it and we've all just leapt together. And then I turn back and it was a quantum leap and it's like, well, where's everybody at? They still in like Oh, come on. Let me keep this before you. So
Right.
you say the vision, you speak it. Okay. Make sure it's flavored into the regular communications, right? Whether if it's a weekly thing that you send out, have a tag or something. Anytime you get up before people, have some little piece of the vision that you share, the language that you want people to have, the culture you're trying to establish. You have to keep on presenting it to people, right? If you don't do that, then it's going to fade and people won't take it seriously.
Yeah, it's so practical advice, but advice that a lot of people don't follow, and they think they can set it and forget it,
Yeah.
and just set the vision. It's in our PowerPoint. It's good, but it's almost like marketing. You have to continue to reiterate the message until it sinks in, until people see action reinforcing the vision, and it's this constant dialogue that you're having with your organization. So it's not a one and done exercise.
Not
it's
at all.
actually like a dialogue over time.
It has to be an ongoing dialogue, right? And you have to give it space to evolve. That's the other thing is, like you said, perfect language. Don't worry about coming up with the perfect language, because I think the more detailed and perfect you try to make it, it makes it more rigid, so that if you need the flexibility to shift, now it makes it a little bit more difficult, because it seems like you've completely deviated.
Yeah.
Right. But if you use broad stroke languages and you kind of head in the direction, then you refine it over time. It gives you more flexibility.